Marcus Reed had been mopping the same hallway for 3 years now. Every evening at 6, he'd push his yellow cart through the glass doors of Wellington Financial Tower, trading his dignity for enough money to keep his daughter fed. His wife, Sarah, had died 2 years ago, leaving him with 5-year-old Emma and a mountain of medical debt. Tonight felt different. The building was emptier than usual, and Marcus could hear his mop bucket squeaking louder in the silence. Emma sat on the floor near the elevator, clutching her stuffed rabbit, humming the lullaby her mother used to sing. Then Marcus heard footsteps. Heavy boots. 3 men in tactical gear came around the corner, but something was wrong. Their movements were hurried, sloppy. One carried a duffel bag that clinked with every step. The lead man stopped when he saw Marcus. He was tall, with cold eyes that measured Marcus like an obstacle to be removed. "Wrong place, janitor," the man said. "Take your kid and disappear for 10 minutes." You saw nothing. Marcus's grip tightened on the mop handle. These weren't security guards. The patches on their uniforms were wrong, and their weapons weren't standard issue. His military training from 15 years ago whispered warnings through his mind. "I can't do that," Marcus said quietly. His voice was steady, but his heart hammered against his ribs. The second man laughed, a harsh sound that echoed off the walls. "You're a janitor with a kid. Don't be stupid." Emma looked up at her father, her blue eyes wide with confusion. She didn't understand the danger yet, but she could feel the tension crackling through the air like electricity before a storm. "Daddy," her small voice cut through everything. The third man moved toward Emma, and something inside Marcus snapped. Years of exhaustion, grief, and swallowed pride transformed into something harder, sharper. He'd been a soldier once. He'd protected people in places far more dangerous than this sterile hallway. "Stay away from her," Marcus warned. What happened next happened fast. The lead man reached for his weapon, but Marcus was faster. The mop handle swung up, catching the man's wrist with crack. The gun clattered to the floor. Marcus spun, years of training flooding back through muscle memory, and drove his elbow into the second man's solar plexus. Emma screamed. "Daddy, please stop them." But Marcus couldn't stop. The third man lunged and Marcus sidestepped, using the man's momentum to send him crashing into the wall. The lead man was back up, reaching again, but Marcus grabbed his arm, twisted, and dropped with a move he'd learned in a desert halfway around the world. When it was over, Marcus stood breathing hard, his cheap work uniform torn at the shoulder. All 3 men were on the ground, groaning. Emma was crying, but she was safe. Marcus pulled out his phone and called the police. Then he held his daughter close, whispering that everything would be okay, even though his hands were shaking. The police arrived within minutes. Then came FBI agents, serious men in dark suits who asked Marcus the same questions over and over. Who was he? What was his background? How did Janitor take down 3 armed men? Marcus answered everything honestly. Former Army Ranger, honorably discharged, just trying to provide for his daughter. They confiscated the duffel bag. Inside were portable hard drives containing classified government data. The 3 men weren't guards. They were thieves, mercenaries hired to steal information that could compromise national security. Marcus went home that night exhausted, his body aching in places he'd forgotten could hurt. Emma fell asleep in his arms on the bus ride back to their tiny apartment. The next morning, Marcus woke to the sound of engines outside. He looked through his window and froze. The street below was blocked by black SUVs. Men in suits stood at attention. At the center of it all was a sleek limousine. Marcus pulled on yesterday's shirt and hurried downstairs, his mind racing through possibilities, none of them making sense. A woman stepped from the limousine. She was in her 60s, gray-haired, with a kind of presence that commanded respect without demanding it. Marcus recognized her face from the news. Senator Patricia Whitmore, chair of the Intelligence Committee. "Mr. Reed," she said, extending her hand. "Thank you for seeing me without notice." Marcus shook her hand, bewildered. Emma peeked out from behind his legs, clutching her rabbit. The senator knelt down to Emma's level. "You must be very proud of your daddy." Emma nodded, uncertain but polite like her mother had taught her. Senator Whitmore stood, her expression turning serious. Mr. Reed, the data those men tried to steal contained information about active agents overseas. If that breach had succeeded, lives would have been lost. American lives. You didn't just stop a robbery. You prevented a catastrophe. Marcus felt lightheaded. I was just protecting my daughter. You were protecting all of us, the senator corrected gently. And I'm here to ensure your sacrifice isn't forgotten. Over the next hour, sitting in Marcus's cramped living room, Senator Whitmore explained everything. The medical debt from his wife's treatment? Erased. A full scholarship fund for Emma's education, from kindergarten through college, and a job offer, not mopping floors, but training security personnel in threat assessment and response. Marcus couldn't speak. He just held Emma tighter. There's one more thing, the senator added. Your daughter asked you to stop them, but you already were stopping them. You were being the man your wife married, the father Emma deserves, the hero this country needs to remember exists. That afternoon, photographers came and went. News crews told Marcus's story. But none of it felt real until that evening when Marcus tucked Emma into bed in their new apartment, a safe place with rooms that didn't smell like mildew and despair. Daddy, Emma whispered, are you still a janitor? Marcus kissed her forehead. I'm still your daddy. That's the only job that matters. Sometimes the smallest acts of courage echo the loudest. Sometimes standing your ground when it would be easier to walk away changes everything. Marcus Reed learned that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they wear work uniforms and carry mop buckets. Sometimes they're just fathers who refuse to let their children down. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Leave a comment below telling us about a time when someone showed unexpected courage in your life. Retry.